only comes, oh, well, maybe I want to tech in one or two things. You know, big shout out to Drapion somehow pulling through here still.
Oh, yeah. Tons of Drapion in the field. I mean, Mew is definitely, I think, respected for this event. Yet we haven't even seen one on stream all day today. You know, we just heard from...
most popular deck
as well.
Exactly.
We've missed it all day. So, I mean, we heard from Andrew Mahone, but yeah, we have missed Mew so far. But we will be getting into our match very, very soon, into our round 9. Like we said, this is for all the marbles. It's going to be a hectic game, I'm sure. Are you excited, Scarzo?
I am super excited, and so are our players because they are set down at the table. We're going to head over there right now and get into this next match. Once again, this is the win and in. Charlie Kerr versus Aaron Rucker. Swiss round 9 here at the Toronto Regional Championships.
Yeah, Charlie Kerr, I know that I've seen at some regionals playing in 2022, taking 7th place at a regional in New Jersey and 13th with Mew VMAX, what we were just talking about, in Salt Lake City, Utah, which we just had not too long ago. So definitely a familiar face here for the stream.
A lot of the players that have stuck with Mew have fallen absolutely in love with the deck, and very few actually switch off of it. It's been a consistent, you know, high B tier deck at the very worst. It's seemingly for its entire lifespan, and especially after Worlds, after the London Open, and this new double turbo energy variant kind of, you know, got that breakout performance. We've seen players really enjoy this new take on the deck.
Oh, wow. And then we also have, of course, on the other side, Aaron Rucker here, who has played in 2022 as well in Salt Lake City. So same as Charlie Kerr, but 54th place with a Malamar Inteleon deck. So a Rapid Strike Malamar.
That's really fun. I mean, Malamar was one of those decks that came and went as the meta would shift, and it's always a pretty fun thing to see a creative deck like that, a strong meta call, really reach out and take down a good performance in a tournament. We're still preparing the game, of course, folks. Aaron has a mulligan, so Charlie's going to start off with an extra card. Charlie is going first in game number 1 here, is going to open us up.
But we can introduce the decks now. So Charlie Kerr bringing it back here with Mew VMAX, what we have been talking about. I said we've missed it all day, but now it is here. Charlie is playing it for us here on stream, so we actually get to see how this will go. And it is the double turbo energy, so a little bit of what we were talking about just now with Andrew Mahone on that Mew VMAX.
Beautiful. To see another player pick up that tech seems great. And then Aaron Rucker across the table has the Inteleon Radiant Charizard box. This was one of the original builds, you know, with Radiant Charizard that was able to just search through the deck, find all the tools you need, and then towards the end game you have the Magma Basin, the Ordinary Rod to keep bringing that Radiant Charizard back and take those prizes. It kind of started to take a bit of a back seat as more single prize decks made their way into the metagame, but Aaron Rucker here, 5-2-1, not too shabby of a performance for sure. And as we've seen, especially from Salt Lake City with Piper Lapine, this is a great deck to play when you know the ins and outs.
All right, we have the fist bump, and we are kicking off here in this match. This is our round 9 final match of the day on stream.
And Charlie Kerr opening up with a Genesect V in the active spot. This is a great card you want to see immediately. And Battle VIP Pass to get the rest of the setup. This part of the setup for Mew is the same no matter what variant you're playing. You love the Genesects, you love to get them in play and draw tons of cards with that Fusion Strike system.
So this is actually going to be quite interesting. So Mew is kind of notorious for struggling against one prize decks. And of course, Aaron Rucker playing a completely one prize deck over on this end. So we will see how Charlie chooses to navigate around that. As we've seen, one prize decks get very grindy very quickly. So making sure that you are conserving resources and you have some sort of outs to make sure that you are outlasting those one prize knockouts that you have to just consistently take, and hopefully, you know, you're not getting blocked or resisted in any sort of way on top of that.
And even as the Mew player, when you kind of get that early lead, it feels bad anyway. You're playing into that Radiant Charizard win condition for the opponent. Charlie Kerr just going to get some Genesect set up. Has the double turbo energy attachment, and then a pass over to Aaron. Opens with the energy search. Just going to pull one basic energy out of the deck. Might be setting up for a keep calling play here on the Sobble after finding an energy. But of course, going to take the time to do a deep search here, map out those prize cards as well, and figure out what the line of play is going to be.
Yeah, of course, this Shady Dealings engine is going to be being activated here from Aaron Rucker. We do see 2 Inteleon. This is the Shady Dealings Inteleon in the list. No quick shooting in this list for Aaron, but I think another big thing to point out for this matchup as well, we've focused so much on Radiant Charizard, those Genesects happen to be weak to fire, so we could be seeing some interesting plays there if Aaron can kind of get a loop going with Radiant Charizard and just utilizing that weakness to take the prize cards in the end, kind of prize map it out.
Yeah, I really like it. The Sobble gets the energy attachment after all. Radiant Charizard is just going to be waiting in the wings this whole game. It's a constant threat that Charlie needs to look out for. Choice Belt's also going to the discard pile. I think you kind of recognize, right? As long as you can get the second Choice Belt, you should be good to go. But it's just a matter of completing this early setup, getting the Drizziles, the Shady Dealings up and running. Once Marnie and Judge start coming down, that disruption from Charlie, you know, after you've stockpiled your hand with so many cards from the Shady Dealings, if you don't use them immediately, it does open up that big window of opportunity for that hand disruption.
Yeah, most definitely. All right, so we are back over to Charlie's side. I'm sure Charlie now knowing, okay, I'm playing against a 1 prize here. Let me slightly adjust what I'm doing to the best of my ability, but we're going to be seeing a lot of draw, I'm sure, still from the Muse side. Of course, that is how the deck functions, but I'm really curious to see how Charlie goes about getting through these 1 prize Pokemon, and of course, rolling a tails on the Cram is not really how you want to start.
Yeah, the Cram-O-Matic can be so explosive, but you do still have to hit that flip. The best part about it is that you still discard the card no matter what that outcome is, so you're just thinning your hand down to draw back up with the Genesect V. Not a whole lot going on for Charlie, but thankfully, because Aaron's playing a more reactive deck, there's not too much punishment for getting this slower Mew start that might be more detrimental in other matchups. Charlie's just going to go for an Ultra Ball here to get that second Mew V, and slowly but surely getting the full squad assembled.
Yeah, as you said, Skarzik, you know, Radiant Charizard decks we've always kind of seen on the comeback, essentially. So they do all of their spice sort of toward the end of the game and hope that they can wrap it up and get those knockouts that they need to close it up. And, I mean, Aaron doesn't even play a ton of energy. It's like 5 energy in the list. And, of course, 2 of those are water, so we could see some potential attacks with the Inteleon as well. There's multiple ways to attack. I do see an interesting Pokemon as well in Aaron's list.
Yeah, the Druddigon. Hopefully that'll come out a little bit later, but Charlie just going to take the easy knockout on Sobble with Mew VMAX coming to the active. And now we're over to Aaron. Going to use Mew's Mysterious Tail. You look at the top 6 cards of your deck, and then you can just get an item card. It's going to be really helpful for planning out your next few turns. There's still 3 Sobbles on the bench thanks to that turn 1 keep calling, and a lot of options yet to be used for Aaron.
Yeah, Mew is very well known for being a vital card for draw support, as you just said to Skarzik. But yeah, Charlie is just going to focus on those consistent knocks and hoping that things don't come together here for Aaron. But of course, that Mew, the baby Mew there on Aaron's side is doing great. Oh, we are going to see a boss here from Aaron onto the Genesect. This is another sort of strategy here. If you can start stranding things in the active position and force your opponent to burn resources to have to get around that, that is definitely something that you can do to buy yourself some time as well.
Yeah, the double turbo was used in the first instance to get that other Genesect out of the active, and now this is going to be another one being forced to, you know, potentially hit the discard pile. Quick Ball discards Path to the Peak to search for another basic Pokemon, but just going to fail that. Charlie thinning the hand down to use the Fusion Strike system. This is going to be massive. Getting a little bit more card draw, trying to find the double turbo energy. I don't think we have, and we have 1 switch in the deck as well that we can use to get out of this active.
Yep, there is Silene as well. There's 1 copy in the deck for Charlie. I didn't see if it was in the prize cards
but finds the cross switcher. to get that Genesect
Ooh.
out of the active. Beautiful. Mew VMAX is back here.
We haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, cross switcher in the Mew. It's so nice. Especially now with the Forest Seal Stone, like you can do all kinds of shenanigans there
Yeah,
to get that cross switcher. It's a powerful play. And here we go, Mew V using Mew VMAX getting another knockout.
Yeah, that's actually the perfect
And that's the scoop up for Aaron Rucker.
Yeah.
Just too slow for the start, and Charlie got set up immediately.
I know, at the beginning of this I was saying, you know, Mew can sometimes struggle against single prizers, but I suppose if the single prizer deck is struggling to set up and you have the cross switcher there, then you are set, because that really made a huge difference there. Being able to not only switch your opponent, but also switch out of a possible stall play that they had for you, kind of keep you stranded in the active. You're coasting. So that's just another very positive trait of playing Mew VMAX, drawing a ton of cards into exactly what you need.
That was something we heard during the interview we just had with Andrew Mahone, is sometimes you need to scoop aggressively in order to buy yourself enough time. Because again, these players cannot draw. They need the win. So Aaron's going to set up for have as much time as possible on the clock to get this 2-0 victory, and hopefully Drizzile will come out to play here in game number 2, Shelby.
Yeah, I mean, these games can definitely get grindy for sure. So yeah, that's good. But I mean, in this game, there's still
Drizzile into the prize cards. A lot of options going to be missing for Aaron here in the second game.
Yeah, that's actually extremely crucial, unfortunately, for Aaron, because that is pretty much the primary way you search out these pieces. All of these single prizer decks, you need in particular pieces to pull off the types of combos, especially late game with the Zard. It's very important to have those. So, and you know, you're not taking a ton of prize cards either until late game. So if you're not able to access those Drizziles, you're going to be in a tough spot. There's that Druddigon.
Yeah, so Level Ball looking through the deck. Aaron sees that the two Drizziles are in the prize cards, but Druddigon is going to be his starting Pokemon in the active. You've got the, just fire and water, which are energy you're using anyway to, use for Inteleon and Charizard. So now we just have another attacker here.
And the revenge attack.
Yeah, just to get a little bit extra damage. I like it. When your Sobble goes down or your Radiant Charizard gets KO'd, maybe Druddigon can kind of pick up the slack.
160, I think, for 2 energy.
Yeah,
so yeah,
not too shabby.
That's definitely something you could utilize in a lot of matchups. So that is what the starting Pokemon is here for Aaron. And then, of course, the 2 Sobbles out.
All right, and this is these 2 Sobbles have to do heavy lifting, Shelby. The 2 Drizziles are in the active, so we're going to have some finesse with the scoop-up nets and recycling these very heavily indeed.
And that's honestly really tough, too, because you don't really want to be burning a ton of scoop-up nets when you don't need to, per se. So, yeah.
Hopefully, Shady Dealings and Inteleon can come through, find those 2 trainer cards, and just give the resources that Aaron really needs. Meanwhile, Charlie, starting again with the Genesect in the active, finds Mew V. But can we get the Battle VIP pass like we saw in Game 1?
Yeah, that is definitely true. We want to have the best setup no matter what you're playing against, that is for sure. So still pretty solid here. Lost City is interesting. I think it was just discarded to a quick ball there, but that actually is an interesting card to have in this deck playing against a Radiant Charizard, because that kind of just shuts down the ability to play Radiant Charizard. If you're knocked out and the Radiant Zard goes into the last zone, then you cannot hit with Radiant Zard anymore.
I like that a lot. That not only hits like these Charizard decks, but you send that Sableye to the Lost Zone, or a Cramorant, or even like Reggie's.
Yeah.
Really dislike that Stadium card. And after the double quick ball thinning down Charlie's hand, Genesect V going to draw back up to 4, attach that double turbo energy, and then the second Genesect V draws back up to 4, benching another Genesect. So much card draw being gained by Charlie here.
4 Genesects in
go.
play right now. A Radiant Charizard's dream.
The full pop-off. And yeah, the prize map is there. Aaron just
definitely
needs to lose some prizes, get the Radiant Charizard, and call it a day.
Yeah, most definitely, because there's no way for these, unless there's a collapsed stadium play that is potential, but I don't think Charlie actually plays it. These Pokemon that are on the bench, they're staying there until they're knocked out.
Yeah, an Ultra Ball just to discard 2 cards to the hand, not even going to pull the Pokemon for it. Already has the Mew VMAX in hand. So just going to keep the hand even thinner and draw. And there's the VMAXs now hitting the hand with power tablets. And Charlie's going to pass. The next turn is locked in. The hand's going to get even thinner with the power tablet usage if Charlie so chooses. But Aaron now has an opportunity to come back into this game. 2 Drizzile somewhere in the deck. Has to thin first with the energy search. Going to search through the deck, get that basic energy, and try to figure out if we can find a Drizzile.
So Aaron only has 3 Drizzile actually.
Oh
in deck.
man, it is a 4-3-2 line.
There's 2 in the prizes, so there's 1 Drizzile in deck.
Okay, Rare Candy and Telia. We gotta edit it a little bit, Shelby. It's fine.
Exactly.
It's totally fine. Rare Candy and Telia, no doubt. There's the Drizzile.
Oh my goodness. Well, not only that, but I suppose the Drizzile, too, is the only thing that can turn into the Inteleon. So, unless there's a rare candy in here, but oh, actually there is. Yeah. There's 1 rare candy in this list.
And here comes Irida.
That's actually huge. So we could actually see the potential for another Inteleon, even without another Drizzile. So just Irida, very interesting playing 3 Drizzile here. I mean, but yeah, 4-3-2.
Yeah, I mean, the first game, it looked like Aaron was off to a great start with the keep calling on the starting Sobble in the active, and then the Drizziles just were nowhere to be seen. I do appreciate once more that aggressive scoop to make sure you have as much time as possible, because Aaron, as you already said, Boo, is anticipating a very grindy best of 3. And so Irida finds the Inteleon and a Level Ball. Level Ball finds the Mysterious Tail Mew here.
I mean, you have to think as far as attackers go, the Inteleon, the Radiant Charizard, and really that Druddigon. And I believe that is it for the deck for Aaron. So trying to just line up anything right now, manually attaching there to the Druddigon with the air balloons, so retreating out of that, will be able to use the Mew, which is huge. Get that extra draw support, which is very needed at this point.
And then Mew's Mysterious Tail activates, top 6 cards. And let's see what Aaron wants to grab off of this Mew. We've got the Rare Candy and the Inteleon in hand. Decides to take the Level Ball.
Yeah, I think it's important to point out as well, over on the Mew VMAX side for Charlie, some Mew VMAX lists, you know, especially the Fusion ones, they play Meloetta in order to deal with these 1 prize. They kind of match 1 prize for 1 prize and sort of even out the prize trade a little bit. But of course, we only see 2 attackers on Charlie's side as well. So actually, Charlie has less. Well, I suppose there's Oricorio. But so both of these players have the equal amount of potential attackers. Only 3 attackers in their deck. We are going to see the cross switch again.
Cross switch to bring up the Drizzile. Charlie doing his best to cut off those resources from Aaron. If we get the disruption of a Judge or something this turn as well, so let that Rare Candy and Inteleon get shuffled back into the deck, Aaron is going to be left dead in the water.
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely what you want to do as the Mew VMAX player when you're playing these disruption cards. You want to put your opponent in as disadvantage of a position as possible.
Just takes the easy knockout.
And that Drizzile hitting the discard pile is definitely a huge disadvantage.
But doesn't opt. You can see here, Charlie is comfortable here. Doesn't opt to like burn the power tablets and then draw even more cards. Opts to not use the Judge that turn. Thinks that just the knockout on the Drizzile is going to be enough. Aaron hasn't actually given away the Inteleon and Rare Candy just yet.
Yep, that is very true. So, Aaron, let's see what is in hand here. I don't even know if I saw any energy, actually. Well, we will get this Mew. Is that a Rescue Carrier?
Yeah, there's a Rescue Carrier in the hand there. Going to get those Sobbles back. That is definitely going to be the grab off of Mew, so another lease on life here.
Yeah, so the Rescue Carrier is actually 90 HP or less. So you can get that Drizzile
comes back too. Let's go.
Which is super big. Unfortunately for Aaron here, that is the only Rescue Carrier that is in the deck. So unless there's some way to pull that back out of the deck, which I don't think I see any, then this is the lone Drizzile once again.
And the other thing, too, is you really like to use the Rescue Carrier to get the Radiant Charizard. Oh, no. I'm thinking of the different card. I'm thinking of Ordinary Rod.
We have Clara. We got Clara here.
I'm thinking of the other. But Rescue Carrier for Charizard. Baby, just shrink down the Charizard and put it in the Rescue Carrier. It's totally fine.
Yeah, just make it 90 HP. I don't know if you'd want that Charizard.
Do whatever you got to do. It's round 9. But again, the winning in, a lot of pressure on Aaron, right? Charlie is very far ahead right now, is just chipping away, taking the prizes, has the 2 Mew VMAX, so you don't have to you can lock yourself out with the Techno Blast and still retreat to keep your attack up. And the rare candy is found to get the Shady Dealings Inteleon, evolved directly from Sobble, and you can find 2 trainer cards now with the even shadier dealings.
I mean, I just have to think, what even is really the route here for Aaron? I just wonder if there's even enough damage potential if you can't. I mean, I suppose once Radiant Zard comes out, things could change real quick. But having to get through such beefy Pokemon, I guess if you have enough Gus left in the deck toward the end game and just can target down those Genesects, that's pretty huge. And, there's 4 of them on the field, so there's plenty here. But you have to do all of that in enough time before your opponent has taken their 6 prize cards. And that is going to be the struggle. Can you get all these pieces together before Charlie just continuously knocks, because Charlie has everything needed right now to just continue getting these knockouts.
That means that Aaron has, 3 turns, essentially. Once Charlie takes these next 2 prize cards, you have to get the Radiant Charizard down and start winning the prize trade with double cross switcher to bring up a Genesect, and then the other 2 cross switchers to bring up another Genesect, and then you need to find your 1 copy of Boss's Orders to bring up that final Genesect. And that seems like a tall order, but when you're playing, Sobble line and Inteleon, it's easy to search out those cards when you need them. Druddigon just going to deal a little bit of chip damage to the Mew VMAX. This is going to be another great target that we can take 3 prizes off of if we need to.
Yeah, that's actually going to be the revenge that we were talking about earlier, Skarsig. So it does 120 more damage if something was knocked out in the previous turn. So that 40 plus as well. So there is some damage being put on the board here. 120 HP on that Druddigon as well. But
Ultra Ball, discarding an Ultra Ball and the Battle VIP pass to search through the deck. I don't know if Charlie actually wants to pull anything here, maybe just for the sake of thinning, but just fails it. Going to shuffle anyway. And 1 power tablet also being spent out of the hand. I think this means that Charlie is getting a little bit spooked at this point. Maybe wants to use that Judge that is in the hand after all. Draws 2 with Genesect V, draws up to 3. Now 6 cards in hand. Another attach of the double turbo energy onto Mew VMAX. So we've got the 2 Mew VMAX up and running. They can just keep pivoting in and out with the Techno Blast, drawing more cards off of Genesect, and another big Parasol. Both Mew VMAX now fully decked out, just continuously drawing through the deck. What I like about this double turbo variant is that you don't need to go super insane with the thinning of your hand. It's okay for a Genesect to draw you 1 or 2 cards, because it's just about having options. You don't get punished too hard if you don't happen to get that specific card. And there's the knockout. Just 1 power tablet used, and once more, Judge saved in the hand. Charlie clearly waiting for some very specific play from Aaron to kind of trigger that Judge and get that key turn of hand disruption.
Yeah, so now it is going to kind of be on Aaron here to make sure to line up exactly what he needs to get a knock in this turn. That is going to be very, very crucial here. There's really no time left to kind of stall. I mean, I suppose if your opponent is going down in more prize cards, then your energy cost on Radiant Charizard is less. And as we saw before, Aaron doesn't play that much energy. There's 2 fire energy, 2 water, and 1 twin. So that is something to consider. But I think Aaron needs to definitely balance the field here in this turn.
Irida, it comes down from Aaron, searching for a water Pokemon, and then an item card finds Shady Dealings Inteleon. There is a Drizzile there ready to go to get that evolution, and now an item of his choice. I also appreciate how Charlie has left his Mew VMAX in the active spot. I wonder if this is a bait. You leave this Mew VMAX out, want Radiant Charizard to come down, and then you're just waiting to play Lost City before you get that revenge knockout, and then send it to the Lost Zone to seal the deal on the second game. Scoop Up Net is the item that Aaron chooses for Irida.
Yeah, there is 1 Lost City in the deck. I believe it was discarded earlier by Charlie, but there is also Silene. So that could come back out of the discard. I'm sure Charlie, well, it's already been revealed that Radiant Zard is in the deck, so I'm sure Charlie is pretty familiar now what they're playing against. So I'm sure they have a game plan here for this matchup. But Aaron having cards as well in the deck like Raihan, which is able to accelerate the energy that you need to pull off things like Aqua Bullet. If you can't attach manually twice in a turn, but you can Raihan. Unfortunately, not able to do it this time because Irida was already played here. So we are going to have to see something else come up from this hand. There's a Magma Basin.
I definitely think that we're in agreement, Shelby, that Aaron has a lot of options when it comes to how he wants to get aggressive, but I think the consensus is also that he needs to get aggressive here. You can't just kick back and let this Mew VMAX start knocking out your Sawballs and just taking prize after prize. It's so specific when you have to pull the trigger on that because the Radiant Charizard coming down, getting 2 prizes, 2 prizes, 2 prizes, and the way it's mapped out right now, it's a 7-prize game for Aaron.
Well, I think we might see that Magma Basin that was grabbed, as well as I believe the Twin Energy was in hand, I think, for that manual attachment. And then we can see that Charizard get that Combustion Blast off because it is only 3 energy required there because Charlie has taken 2 prize cards already.
That is beautiful. I felt that Aaron might have to wait until Charlie took 3 prizes, but being able to get this done and get these prize trades going a turn early allows Aaron to catch up and then continuously threaten with the Radiant Charizard from this point.
That's if the Twin Energy is there, which I actually haven't seen the hand yet, so I'm not sure. But we'll see. But yeah, and then knowing that the Lost City as well is in the discard pile. I mean, obviously, Aaron doesn't know how many Charlie plays, but it is in the discard pile. So that is a little bit comforting, I suppose.
And, yep, so just has the Irida now off of the Drizzile. So overall, just preparing for next turn, right? And again, the Inteleon line kind of telegraphs a lot of these decisions, a lot of these lines. And Charlie has yet to play a judge, just waiting for the sweetest, the most critical opportunity to play this hand disruption.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that'll come soon, but maybe not. Aaron also had to have had a pivot out of the Mew as well from in that last turn too. So yeah, just preparing here. The attacker, but this is kind of a scary situation to be in, I suppose, because we could just say, oh,
there it is, finally. So what I'm thinking, I was wondering if you would save the judge for the turn you knock out the Radiant Charizard,
True, yeah.
and it makes it a little bit harder for Aaron to be able to recover it from the discard pile.
Yeah, that's definitely huge. That's
so Charlie's going to be looking for a knockout on the Radiant Charizard here after the judge. Means that off of these 4 cards, needs to find another opportunity to get that Charizard up, perhaps.
Yeah, well, if there was no Gust option there either, it allows Charlie, you're only drawing into 4 cards, so it allows you to get rid of more cards from your hand to be able to get the cards that you need if you do want to Gust or play out to a different strategy. So we'll see what Charlie chooses to do here. Yeah,
there is the Cram-O-Matic in hand. Charlie going to be looking to hopefully hit heads here to find specifically the card that he needs. Is the one boss still in there? I'm having a hard time remembering, but here comes the Cram, and even if you fail this, the Genesects are there to, to rescue you.
So that was an interesting decision there that we saw from Charlie. It looked pretty tough. Almost discarded the Cross Switcher, opted for the Lost Vacuum, which, I mean, Lost Vacuum has a lot of utility to get rid of that Magma Basin. Of course, your opponent is not just playing 1. They're playing multiple, of course. Aaron's playing 3 in this list, as long as there's none in the prize cards. So that is a huge loss, unfortunately, with that Tails roll there for Charlie, but of course able to draw into more cards here. There is Oricorio in hand, but full bench, so that will not be seeing play in this turn.
And yeah, there's still a lot of options here. Charlie considering, do I want to discard more with the Ultra Ball, try to draw more with the Genesect, keep digging for that play to try to get rid of the Charizard, because now that it's on the bench, has the energy attached, and you're setting up to take another prize this turn, Aaron is going to get the revenge here with the Radiant Charizard.
Yeah, so we are going to see the knockout there, of course, with ease on that Mew from, I guess, larger Mew, VMAX. Not the child, no. But yeah, we are going to see that knockout. I do see Silene in hand now for Charlie, so we could see some retrieval there from the discard pile of some things. Of course, we mentioned the Lost City could be pretty crucial for this, especially since Charlie did opt to keep that cross switcher. So that is still a potential out later on in the game. Now we are back to Aaron here with that Radiant Charizard in the active position. Still needs that energy, but that is another prize card there for Charlie. So
and there's the attachment. Radiant Charizard can strike with the Combustion Blast here and has the boss's orders for the damaged Mew VMAX to get this cleanup. The Charizard, of course, can't do 310. But still, 3 prizes going to even this out, put him ahead, and now he can start going.
Yeah, so that's the thing about going against Mew VMAX here. It is a bulky, it is a very powerful Pokemon, but it is also worth 3 prize cards as well. So that is half of Aaron's prize cards taken in one swoop by that Radiant Zard. So we will see what Charlie has to respond with. If we saw a play where that Radiant Zard ended up hitting the Lost Zone, that would be absolutely wild, but we'll have to see if Charlie has the pieces to put together there. Of course, we did see a knock, so that Oricorio can come into play now. So that is going to be less damage here now for Charlie's Pokemon, and we are going to see that Silene. Let's see what Charlie goes with.
I saw one heads, but I didn't see the other. Oh, no, there it is. Silene puts the Lost City back into the deck. And now we're just going to, on top of the deck, pardon me. You have to shuffle it.
The Lost City's about to be Found City, Skarzik. That's what I say.
The Radiant Charizard is about to go to the Radiant Lost Dimension.
No. Yeah, that is definitely a huge play. Maybe almost.
This is exactly what Charlie has been waiting for this whole time.
It's a little scary, I guess. Maybe getting rid of it so early in the game, but maybe it was a bait almost for Aaron to take that Radiant Zard out. I mean, of course, there's not other attackers. I mean, there's the Druddigon and the Inteleon, so Radiant Zard is a huge part of this deck. But there we go. That is something you never want to see when you are playing a Radiant Charizard deck. Your Radiant Charizard is now out of play completely in the Lost Zone. Charlie is just running away with this game.
The Silene heads Lost City, then draw it immediately. Because Silene just puts the cards right back on top of the deck.
Yes, it does.
Beautiful, beautiful
play
play.
That's why it works so well in this, because the Fusion Fusion Strike system just draws it right back out. Or, I mean, there's plenty of cards to draw right back out, honestly.
And then Raihan attaches an energy here over to the Drizzile, and we can search the deck for 1 card of our choosing. We'll see what Aaron goes for here. At this point, Radiant Charizard's down. Druddigon is also down. The only remaining attacker, as you had listed earlier, Shelby, is trying to go for Shady Dealings and Inteleon, trying to get some damage through with Aqua Bullet. But with Lost City in play, if Inteleon also gets knocked out, that's going to the Lost Zone as well.
Yeah, hopefully Aaron can find a pivot for that stadium, because that Lost City is definitely just making everything a lot harder. Of course, Aaron's still going to play out this match. You know, this is the winning in as well, so this is for all the marbles, as we said. You might as well play it out, you know, Skarzik.
If we can get, you know, a little chunk of damage on this Mew VMAX, and gust it up and try to take 3 prizes here in the next couple turns, that's the only out for Aaron. But when you look at the damage on Aqua Bullet, and then you look at the HP on UV Max, you're like, I don't know about that one. There is Galarian Zigzagoon in Aaron's deck. There's 4 Scoop Up Nets. So is there some forbidden Scoop Up Net headbutt tantrum combo here to make this all work out?
I suppose you could just ignore the Mew VMAX entirely and just prize map the Oricorio and the Genesect, but then you have to have the options to do that as well. You know, it's a lot easier when you have Charizard and Genesect is weak to fire. Then you have, you know, no issues as long as you have the gusting ability, but unfortunately Aaron's just in a tough spot here. And yeah,
Ordinary Rod does get the Druddigon back. So we can start trying to find some extra damage there. We saw the Revenge dealing 160 in response to a knockout. So
Yeah, I mean, also that energy putting back into the deck is pretty crucial as well, as we've mentioned a couple of times here. There's only 5 energy in this deck, so it's pretty important to be able to access them when you need it, and putting it back into the deck is definitely one of those ways to do it. There is only 1 ordinary rod in the deck here for Aaron, though.
Yep, and the double cross-stitch replay is lined up to bring up the Oricorio. So here comes Shady Dealings Inteleon into the active, has energy attached, gets the knockout on the Oricorio, and then a little bit of extra damage goes through.
Yeah, so Aaron just playing to the outs, as we just said, you know, trying to get through that Mew VMAX, it's a lot. So if you can get around it, play around it, then you're going to want to do that if you can buy the time to do that. I think that's like the 3rd Tails we've seen from Charlie.
Yeah, the crams are not hitting, but it's okay. The Genesect just going to keep drawing you cards regardless.
Yeah, that
Another
is
Cram
tough.
gets rid of Echoing Horn, and it's a Tails!
Oh, no.
The Cram-O-Matics are on the fritz. You got to send those back to the manufacturer. Hopefully they're still under warranty.
It looks like a crock pot to me.
Is it a rice cooker?
I don't know what it is.
Is that a gas tank on the back? What is going on with the Cram-O-Matic? I don't even know what it does. It's filled with gas? Wait, is that the joke? That it's filled with gas?
It's
gas.
The gas. Oh my gosh. All right, I'm done here. Okay, so we have seen the plays here from Charlie Kerr, playing to all the outs here. I think from Charlie's end, what we could see, that's probably the best option, is really probably just more disruption and just continuous knocks, honestly. That's just the name of the game. There's only 2 prize cards left here for Charlie. Of course, these power tablets don't matter too much because you are one-shotting everything here.
And we see a PAL pad in the hands. We can get Silene back to get Lost City back. But now that Radiant Charizard is out of the equation, that's probably not going to be a huge concern for Charlie. Just goes for Path to the Peak instead, just to bump that Magma Basin.
Yeah, that's huge.
Makes it harder to power up that Druddigon.
Yeah, bumping the magma basin is definitely crucial here. As we said, that is going to be that disruption that you need to take all of the outs away from your opponent so that they have to find even more pieces. And that is the Judge being drawn out there, put it back into the deck with that PAL pad is also going to play into that if Charlie's able to get that Judge and play it. Oh, actually, there's already a Judge in hand.
Yeah, we saw that Charlie was being very specific and waiting with the Judges, not going for the early disruption, but rather saving it for the end game. So when Aaron is, trying to close out the game, trying to get these last 1 or 2 prizes and needs very specific cards to put that combo together, the Judge is going to come through and try to slam that door shut.
But
1 prize left for Charlie, and Aaron promotes the Mew.
Charlie doesn't even need the Judge at this point because I think Aaron is just 1 turn too short here. I don't believe there is enough damage on the board state here for Aaron to be able to close out this game. And that is honestly pretty brutal to see. There's 2 prizers there. I had the potential to knock. Now I do not. And that is definitely unfortunate to see. But I don't know. Maybe there's something spicy that's about to happen that I didn't even predict here, Skarsnik. I don't know.
I know. Sometimes, games look lost and the players find a way to make it happen. There was a knockout. That means that Druddigon is theoretically able to do that 160 with Revenge if you were somehow able to get it powered up.
So there is 2 choice belts for Aaron in the list.
So we need to find a way to gust up a Genesect V.
Ooh, there's
hit it with
Goon
a couple,
too, actually.
Hit it with a couple Goon headbutts. And then also the Druddigon needs to come through here. A lot of cards, a lot of combos need to happen in order to make this work.
So wait, so if something went down last turn, Druddigon is hitting 160, 190 with a choice belt. Right?
Okay, well there you go.
But you'd also need all of the other pieces. So you'd need the Druddigon, you would need the choice belt, you'd need the energy attachment as well.
And with no Magma Basin, we need Raihan as well.
You'd also need a Gust, and yeah, that's just way too much. Is there something I'm not seeing? Maybe a choice belt?
Yeah, he's holding the hand very close to the chest. I see a Clara. We've got a scoop up net.
All right, so here we go. The Inteleon is in the active here.
And then retreats back into the Mew to use Mysterious Tail once more. Oh, pardon me. Magma Basin can't put energy on Druddigon. I'm way overthinking it.
There's not even a Magma Basin
Because
in
it
play.
needs to be, it needs to be a fire Pokemon.
You need Raihan and manual attachment.
So it's Raihan manual attachment. It's even harder than I thought, Shelby. I've been making up plays this whole game. I'm rooting for Aaron.
There we go. That is going to be it. Charlie is going to take that game there. That was a very long, intense match, but Charlie Kerr is making it into day 2 with a Mew VMAX. We've avoided the deck all day, but now we get to see it in action. Charlie navigating that matchup as best as possible. We saw some very intense plays there. The judge came out. I mean, Andrew Mahone just went through this deck with us, and now we got to see it in action.
Yeah, that was honestly a fantastic setup. Having the judge, but also having the discipline to know that you're far enough ahead that you don't need to use it right away, and then waiting for that opportune moment to use the cards. When it comes to, you know, these Mew decks, they draw so many cards with Genesect. You have so many options, and it feels like you also want to use a lot of your cards. That way you keep your hand low and you can just keep drawing. But it's just about, again, having that discipline to know when the right opportunity to get the maximum effectiveness of your cards.
Well, and what's interesting too, a lot of the Mew decks had kind of, I mean, a big majority of them were taking out the Lost City as well, depending on what they valued and what they thought they were going to be playing against. So obviously it's very good in matchups like Reggie's, Radiant Charizard, things like that. So if you think you're going to be hitting a lot of those decks, and I mean, there is a lot of potential for that. Lost Boxes out there playing Snorlax and Zard. But I mean, in this matchup, having that Lost City was so crucial because it's not a Lost Box deck where